Are you confident? Do you have consistency? How much conviction do you have? I'm Daniel Gomez, the Confidence Architect, a business strategist, keynote speaker, executive coach, and best-selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you unlock confidence to create consistency and develop conviction. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence. Welcome back to another episode of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, where we motivate you, we inspire you. Today, we're going to encourage you. I'll tell you what, we have a powerhouse guest all the way from California, California. She's amazing. I'll tell you what, I was able to be on her show, and she brings a lot of value. Very successful businesswoman. So you want to get out your pen, you want to get out your paper ahead of time and take notes, because she's going to drop some gems. She's going to drop some wisdom. So let's welcome to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, Miss Sue Freeze. How you doing, my sister?
Woo! I'm doing fantastic, but getting better all the time.
Well, look, you have the crowd going wild. They're going wild for you already. How are you doing today? I'm excited to have you on the show.
Well, you know, it's really interesting because we go through seasons and, just getting through the holidays and everything. And I've just been in 2 weeks of reflection. I kind of pulled myself out of my office, and I've had some time to reflect over the year and what the future holds for me and what the Lord wants for my life. And it's really good to be able to take a breather when you work, and that quality of life and that balance. Sometimes it can get off balance, and taking time off, I feel like I've been more productive while I've not been at work. And I've heard that from many, many people. But I really feel like I've been able to focus on the things that need to be focused on instead of the urgent things that might not be the priority things. So I feel like God's doing a mighty work in me, and I think he's got some major plans, and I just want to be ready, willing, and hopefully able.
Well, yes. I'll tell you what, we're excited to have you here. I know the amazing woman you are. Can you do me a favor? Can you introduce yourself to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show audience?
Wow. Where do I start? Okay. My name is Sue Freeze. I have 2 children, one 40, one 37. The 40-year-old son, chronic asthmatic, and wrote a book about asthma. Very trying time. As a parent, trying to keep your children healthy as much as you can. You train them up, but you also want to make sure that they're happy and healthy, right? My daughter's 37, married. She's giving me the blessing of 2 granddaughters. One is 3, one is 1.5, and she has one in the oven that's going to be a little boy. And so I'm very excited about that. So being a grandma, Grandma Gigi, is a wonderful experience. And it's just amazing. And you hear people talk about being grandparents and just how different it is. And it so is different. And it's more than just getting them all sugared up and then hand them back over. It's more about what can you train them and teach them and be present in the moment and just be able to teach them and love on them that maybe you were too busy to do the first time. So it's just wonderful to have that second opportunity.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, you're amazing. And I just think you bring a lot of value. Every time I talk to you, you have wisdom. Sometimes I think as human beings, we don't realize how much wisdom we carry and how knowledgeable we are. And one thing that I admired about you is you own a very successful business in California, and you're known as I believe, the termite lady. I want to say that correctly. And how did you get, right? Because you do, I guess, pesticides, and the termite lady is your
right.
How did you get that name, by the way, before we go into the business aspect of it?
Well, advertising and marketing has always been kind of an interesting thing. I used to love Bewitched, if you remember being that old, the old show of Bewitched.
I remember that.
Yes.
I'm giving my age there.
Darren's job, his profession was he was in the advertising world. And a lot of times the things that happened in their family life, he would get a great idea and it would sell the products. And I don't even know if you remember that, but to me, that's what I captured from it, along with Bewitched being Bewitched. But, and I just always really liked the, what's in it for the other person. And when we talk, it's like whenever anybody is talking to me, I'm always wondering what it is they're really wanting, because you have to read between the lines. And whenever I'm talking, it's like, I want to make everything a win-win. So if we go into things with win-win, and I wasn't even prepared to talk about this, but that's really funny. But the Lord, thank you, Jesus, is giving this message. Someone needs to hear it. But the win-win, it's like I'm always looking for what the other person's needing or wanting. And I want to, if I have the ability, I want to be able to deliver that. Obviously, it's best if it's a win-win for both parties. Sometimes it's not, but usually I look for that, whether it's an employee, one of my employees, and he's looking, they need something special, but sometimes they have a hard time just really coming out and telling me exactly what it is they're needing or wanting. Maybe it's a sensitive area. Maybe it has to do with family life, maybe, whatever. So I always look for the win-win. Negotiation, I always look for the win-win, and it's not always exactly like what's being spoken. It's kind of undercurrent, and you have to listen to the not spoken or unspoken words along with what's spoken in order to figure out what is really going on. And so being in tune with the Holy Spirit, having the discernment to know what direction things need to go, hopefully we help guide people and direct people, and so I think that win-win, looking for the win-win is really important. So you asked me a question. You said, how did I get Termite Lady? Well, Termite Lady, a girlfriend a long time ago, she's in advertising marketing. And it was when I bought the company. I bought the company in 2000. I was running another company with my husband, another franchise in the same industry. And I learned the business. I came from fashion, which is hilarious. I went from fashion to bugs. Nobody gets up one morning. Nobody gets up one morning and says, I want to be in the bug business. It just doesn't happen. In 42 years of being in the industry, I've asked so many people that, how did you get involved? Nobody said it's because they woke up one morning and just said, oh, this is what I need to do. But it ends, you bloom where you're planted, right? And I got planted in this pest control business. I got pregnant. Right after getting married, I got pregnant. And so I said, I want to work with my husband. I thought it would be in ministry. It ended up being in bugs. It's okay. And so I just bloomed where I was planted. I learned the business. I answered the phone every day. I found out who I was talking to, what their needs were, the FAQs, just the frequently asked questions, like what were the main concerns? And I took note and paid attention to that. And then I came up with scripts, and I came up with a way to express this in the least amount of words, because I'm a maximizer. I don't like to waste words. I like to get to the point. Let's move on. So I did that, and then I came up with
you so much. You're like me.
Yes, I am like you.
You're like, what's the bottom line, Daniel? What's the bottom line? Here you go.
Reader's Digest version. Just give it to me, okay? I don't need all the fluff. Don't give me the ands and the those and he said, she said. Just give me the what is it? What is it you need from me? So I came up with scripts so that we could save time and energy, and also get right to the point and actually take care of the person on the other end. So I learned that. Then I created systems for operations because I wanted to manage that. I wanted to be more precise and efficient. And so I didn't realize I was a maximizer. I just realized that I got impatient waiting in line. I get impatient when I'm trying to get somewhere and I can't because there's people in my way. I realized my daughter finally said, Mom, you're a maximizer. I'm like, oh, that explains a lot. That explains a lot. So I did with my husband, I worked with him, and I learned unhealthy and healthy boundaries. I learned that you've got to have them if you're going to work in partnership. You've got to have healthy boundaries. That means everybody has to know what the expectations are and where the line is, like who's handling what. And so I learned that in the position I was in. And so now, buying a business and running a business, I know I need to support my management team. I need to grow them up. I need to help them be all they can be so I could be doing what I need to focus on, which really became really relevant this last 2 weeks, is because I'm not at the office. I'm allowing my team to really just do it. And I am taking care of the things that normally I really can't get to, but they're the most important things of all. So it's really interesting how the Lord is just like opening this up to me and making me so aware that we need to focus on really what's really important. And a lot of the most important things, let me just finish this because I think this is the most important little nugget, is that the most important things money cannot buy. The most important things are money can't buy them. And so we need to focus on those things. When I think about my last days, because I've got people that are ill and that, I don't know if they're going to be here much longer. And when I think about that, and I was thinking about me, what really matters? Does it matter how many memos I write? Does it matter how much money I make? Or does it matter the relationships that I build What is going to be remembered once I'm gone from this earth? What's a significant takeaway that I can give others when I'm not here anymore? And to me, that is like so vitally important to me. And it's all around God. My daughter said to me, she says, Mom, what was the main message? What was the main lesson that you wanted me to learn when I was growing up? And I'm like, I was surprised that she asked that question, but I think she wanted me to be clear on what it was. She knows what it is, but she wanted me to be clear on what it was. And I thought that was an interesting question that my daughter asked me. So I would ask you, listeners, what is the main message that you want to leave this world with? What is the main message? Because if you think about that, I'm all about purpose. You know, we were created for a purpose. God created each one of us with a purpose, and it's up to us to listen to him and be guided by him, and not just do what makes more money, but really, what are we passionate about? What really gets our fire burning? What is that? And we need to move in that direction. And then everything else works itself out. So what is your passion? What is your purpose?
So let me ask you
And
this,
live in
because
that.
we'll go back to the question of the termite lady, how you got the name, but I love what you're talking about. Would you say that the younger Sue Fries was more driven by achievement and recognition, and now yet in your latter days you're seeing that, oh man, that crap doesn't really, it's important, right? It's important because you got to pay your employees, you got to do things, but now you're on the other side of being in business for, right? You bought your business over 20 years ago, and now you're seeing like relationship, what's my purpose behind everything? Is that what kind of you kind of realize along
It's
the way?
stronger. I've always been mom. It's been very important to me, being a mom and being there for my kids. I was always there for them. But I think that it's becoming more relevant to me now. That, you know, being present in the moment, being present with your presence, and intentional in what we do.
We'll say that again, presence with the present. Say that one more time.
I love that, isn't it? Giving the present of being present, and with your presence. You know, it's like being completely there, right in the moment, you know, because we can have so much going on. I don't know, CEOs, entrepreneurs, you're juggling so many things in a day. There's so many things coming at you, and you've got to handle them all. They're all on you, you know, and it's like people say, oh, you know, you're so successful. You've got this, you've got that. But they have no idea what it took to get where we are. You know, it takes a lot of sacrifice to get where we are. And for much is given, much is required. And I think the sacrifices people don't see. They just see the outcome. They don't see what happened to get there. And it's been a lot of sacrifice. And I'm thankful for every single moment of every single thing that's happened to me, good and bad, because I wouldn't be the Sue Fries that I am today.
So you saying that, would you go back and do something differently in business, or would you keep it the same?
I would do something different. Great question. And I realized lately that I was my ceiling, that I had what I thought it could be, and we've exceeded that. So I feel like the company is outgrowing me right now. I feel like I've got to open up my ceiling, my head, and think so much bigger than I was thinking before. And, you know, we're doing really well. I mean, Ecola, my company, God's company, my company, is one of the top 100 companies, pest control companies in North America. We're one of the top 100. All right?
Top 100 in the nation.
And to me, that is like so amazing to me. I never really thought about that happening, but it did, and it is, and I'm thankful. But now I don't want to stop. I want to just blow it out of the park. You know, it's like, why not? And I've been the one that's been kind of holding it back, and now I'm not going to hold it back. I am just going to.
So you saying that? I love what you're saying, because this is a great topic we're talking about. Because you saying that, do you think so many times business owners, entrepreneurs, we don't open up, and right, we go into business, and we don't even really understand what business is, because most people that open up a business still think like an employee. But that being said, they just go in there enough to say, you know what, when I left my job, I was making 50,000 at my job. I'm happy with making 50,000 if my business does that. I left my job, I was making 100,000 a year. My business does that, I'm happy. And what I'm hearing you say is like, you kind of didn't want your business to grow, and you opened up yourself, and like the floodgates of heaven opened up, and now it's like God says, okay, let me take over. I'm going to take you even further than you ever thought.
correction, I never in my mind said I don't want it to grow, because we've always grown. We've grown every single year. I've never had where I've stayed the same or I've gone down. Every year for 21 years, it's been better than it was the year before. And that's part of my innate nature. I want to be better than I was yesterday. I'm always striving for better every day. And I really push my employees and everyone I come in contact with for them to focus on being better than they were yesterday. And if everybody does that, that's an amazing thing. But we have to be aware of where we are in order to know where we need to go, and that we're going to get there. It's
So
like the target, you know?
What are 2 ways you opened up? What are 2 ways that you opened up in reference to what you just said? I think that's important, because we have a lot of business people listening to this, and they're faith-based, and sometimes I think they dream too small. So how does one open up according to C. Freeze?
Jeremiah 29:11, the plans I have for you to prosper you, not to harm you all the days. You know, it's a lot more than that. I got it posted up there and I just don't have it memorized completely because I'm thinking about all this stuff. But to prosper you, I think that sometimes we think too small. I mean, when I was growing up, I never knew how many zeros there were in a million. You know, it wasn't until I hit it that I knew how many there were. I'm like, wait, how many zeros are? I mean, it's like, I didn't know. I truly didn't. Now I'm thinking billion, you know, it's like, how many zeros are there in a billion? You know, why not? Right. So yeah, so I want, and it's not for me. It's not for me. It's for God. And it's for the people that are working for me, because I would like them all to own a home. I want them all to own a home. Working with a COLA, and you're gonna learn how to own your own home. I think it's an important thing to do, and you know, to be able to provide for your family and be a good steward and a good servant. We need to be a good steward and a good servant. And I'm the teacher. I'm the minister. This is another thing. When I bought my company, I was heavily involved in church. I was in the drama team. I was on the worship team. I did the spiritual gifts classes and helped people get fit into where their spiritual gifts are in church. And then when I bought my company, huge nut, by the way, huge nut to crack. I'm like, okay, I can't divide myself. I got my kids, I've got this, I can't do church. So I went to my pastor and I'm crying and I'm like, I have to back out. And they understood. And then the Lord just spoke to me and said, your employees are your ministry. Your employees are your ministry. And I went, oh, see, we don't have to be in church to minister. No. We should be ministering every single day, every single moment. We should be ministering. And if we wake up in the morning before our feet hit the floor, Lord, please guide my steps, guide my words, guide my thoughts. Let me hear your voice. Let me feel with your heart. Let me see with your eyes, Lord, and let me be the light in the darkness. If we wake up in the morning and that's our focus, then as we go through the day, things are revealed to us in the spirit and just in regular life.
So let me ask you that. You saying what you just said, because this is a conversation I have with a lot of clients that I coach. They look out for their best interests, of course, because it's their business. But I love what you said, because what you're saying is when you work for E. coli, you're gonna get your goal is to have a house, right? So they have a vision that, hey, the profits that we make, it's not just for Sue, it's not just for the Freeze family, it's for all of us. And I think so many times business owners, as they start to grow, instead of say, right, of course, there's a majority owners, they're gonna keep the profit to say before, but then, okay, but don't be cheap with your employees and what you're paying them is what you're saying. Because I think so many business owners, now it's harder because of what happened with COVID, there's less employees that are to pull from, but you can't be cheap, right? You can't expect God to bless you is what you're saying if you're not being fair with the people and paying them the right wages. And then I love what you said, because you're giving them a vision. When you come work for us, what we're different about, right? When you work with this bug company, the goal is for you to buy a house. That's the vision that we give you when you support the vision that you have for our business.
I don't, when I hire people, that is not the vision. The vision is, because sometimes that's just way over their heads. It's way too big for them. They're just trying to go paycheck to paycheck. What I'm trying to teach them how to do is be better stewards with the money that they are given, because, you know, it's not, you know, you've got to have more money than you have days in the week and days in the month. And so when people come and they ask me for a loan, I'm asking them, Okay, what have you spent your money with? And if you didn't spend the money on it, for instance, Starbucks, I'm not a fan, but Starbucks, you know, it's like a waste of money to me. Go make your coffee at home, or, you know, and there's just so many other ways we can save our money. I'm a saver. I'm a good steward. I don't shop at Nordstrom's. That's not the way I work. I'd rather go find a treasure at Goodwill or Salvation Army, and I've got very, very, very nice clothes. But I can buy 10 times what someone else could buy if they buy at Nordstrom. So I'm trying to teach my employees how to think about that. Like gas stations, you know, even if you're Shell or Arco or whatever, they're not all equal. And you can go, I was traveling to Nevada or Tahoe or somewhere, and we went right over the border, and in California, the gas was like $7 a gallon. And I'm not kidding you, for those that are not in California. It was $7 a gallon, and I'm like, it's just highway robbery, literally. We went over the border, and it was $5 an hour a gallon, right? $5 a gallon. That's $2 a gallon more. Now, if you're doing that on a regular basis, I happen to have an electric car, but if you are getting gas like that, I mean, that is huge. So my son puts on every single employee's phones Gas Buddy, which is a program that can shop the nearby gas stations to teach you that you can shop and get better price on gas. Now, I'm paying for their gas because they're using my company trucks. I'm a service provider. I have 56 trucks on the road, actually maybe more than that now. And for them to be looking at where they can get their gas cheaper is a wonderful thing. Is that just teaching them how to work at work?
No.
No, right? It's teaching them principles that they can use no matter when. You know, how we shop, where we shop, when we shop, even getting flights. You know, there's different times where you can get flights cheaper. And there's different ways you can manage this. I've taught so many people about the frequent reward points and credit cards. And I learned that from, you know, our special friend,
Bob Harrison.
Mr. Bob Harrison, yes. And I've been going to Bob Harrison for, I don't know, 30, maybe more years. And I can tell you that.
But I don't want to get off course, because I think what you're saying is crucial, is that you seem to care about your employees. And
they're my ministry. God told me that my employees are my ministry. So I don't tell them that they're going to buy a house when they first get with me. All I do is I teach them minor habit changes that can help them financially. So then from there, as they promote, then my focus is, okay, next step. Where do you want to go in this world?
So let me ask you
I want you
this.
to stay with me.
Do you think more small, and I say small businesses because it's not a big enterprise, right? You have 100 employees or maybe more, but would you think more small business enterprises would be more successful if they really cared more about their employees?
Absolutely. See, you asked me the other day, you know, in preparation, you asked me the one question of, you know, what would you say? And on my social media and all my sites, I think on LinkedIn, I just looked at it and it's still there. And it says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think that we care is the most important thing. And my bookkeeper, who's been with me 21 years, God bless her for putting up with me. Just saying. Anyway, I said, Kim, what would you say about me? If you were going to say what, you know, what the worst thing about me, what would you say it is? And she says, you care too much. You care too much. And I'm like, Kim, I'll go to my grave. If they put that on my tombstone, I'm okay. She goes, yeah, but they take advantage of you. They take advantage of you all the time. I'm like, it's okay. Because I can go to bed and sleep at night knowing that I did my best to show love and show care. Now I do have my line, and I will say, no, I'm not, you can't cross this line. If you lie to me, if you steal from me, I just fired a guy last week. He was stealing from me. You don't steal from Sue Freeze. You just don't do it.
Yes.
But there's a lot of things that I will put up with just because they might be going through a hard time. Being flexible, understanding life, understanding that everyone's going through stuff, especially during COVID. Come on, man. I had 8 women that are moms that were my call center. My call center has 12 people total. And during COVID, I had 8 mommies that had to stay home with their children. What did that do to my business? Woo, you know? But I understood. I'm a mom. Of course they're going to stay home with their kids. What are they going to do? Right?
Yeah.
So we worked around it. We had to figure out another way. Pivot. I'm a dancer, so pivot. It's a big word. Pivot, you know? Yes.
So if someone was to ask you, what is the best business advice that you'll give out? What are two golden nuggets that you can give out to a young business, young entrepreneur there that's maybe they're struggling right now and they're not, right? 2022 hasn't been the year that they wanted. We're now in 2023. What are two things, two words of wisdom and business advice that you would give to our audience?
Really good question. Really good question. I would say that leaders, which we are as business owners, we're leaders, and we need to be responsible with that we're leaders. And leaders need to be two things: humble and teachable. Humble and teachable. Okay. If I make a mistake, which I do, I will say I made a mistake and I'm sorry. And humble means you're not afraid to ask for help. Now that's a hard one for me. Okay. Because I'm supposed to have all the answers. I'm the leader, right? I'm supposed to have all the answers, but I don't have all the answers. And I'm finding, I just bought a horse. And this horse, it's a long story. I was in an accident, almost, I got thrown by a horse and I almost was not going to be able to walk. And I'm a competitive dancer on the side. But I just bought a horse. So I'm getting back up again, fearful, not sure about what I'm doing. And I realized that I don't know what I'm doing. And I had to walk up to someone, a complete stranger, a woman who I was watching in the arena, watching her handle this horse. And I watched how she was, and I was in awe. She's like the horse whisperer. I mean, she lifted up her hand and the horse did what she wanted. And I'm like, I want to do that. But I had to humble myself. Here I am, CEO. You know, I know a lot, right? I said, hi, you don't know me, but I really want to learn what you just showed me. What I just saw, I want to know how to do. Are you willing to teach me? And she was so gracious in her response to say, well, I'm really busy, but yeah, you know what? I think I want to help you. So we get in the arena. We get in the arena and I watched her. I was like in awe watching how the horse my horse, okay, respond to her. The horse didn't know her, but her presence, her confidence. And I tried to do what she did. And I have to tell you, I was not successful. Okay. Like she would just put a hand up and the horse knew. Horse needed to go the other direction. She put the other horse, it was like amazing. And then she stood in front of the horse and she just said back without touching the horse, and the horse backed up. Yeah. So guess what? She goes, your turn. Okay, I'll try it. And I was embarrassed, totally embarrassed. I tried it, didn't work at all. So she got out there and tried again. And then at the end, she goes, you got to act like you got a bubble, and you got to put your shoulders back, and you got to put your chest out, and you got to have a bubble. And when you go up, you got to command. Everything in your body has to command that you're going to expect them to do what you're asking them to do. So I did it. It took a little while, but I actually was successful. And you know what she said to me before that happened? You know what she said? She goes, Sue, you're a CEO. Okay, you are, you make mistakes, but you just keep going because you have to. They're depending on you to do it. You've got to keep going, right? Yes. And I'm like, oh. So when she put it in terms that I was familiar with, this is a golden nugget. When she put things in terms like she taught me in a manner in which I was familiar. Yes. I took that in and went, oh, okay. So I'm CEO in the horse pen. I'm CEO. So I'm just going to puff up and I'm just going to say, no, back up. And the horse backed up. So I'm learning from my horse that I don't know what I'm doing at all, but I'm willing to ask somebody for help, which is not easy for leaders. It's not easy for an entrepreneur. It's not easy for a CEO to admit they don't know. But guess what, guys, girls? We don't know everything. And God put all of us together so we can help each other out. And I don't want to steal the joy that someone can give by giving what they know by me trying to do their job.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to what Sue's saying, ladies and gentlemen. Think about that. Think about 2022. Were you humble? And if you have a trouble answering that question, where maybe the question you need to ask yourself and write this question down, where in my life, where in my business was I not humble? Because maybe in your perspective, from your point of view, you're like, well, I'm humble in this and I'm humble in that, but are you humble in certain areas that maybe you can't see? And maybe you need to reflect deeper on that. And I love what Sue said. Are you teachable? Are you honestly teachable? Can you have someone who maybe is younger than you, maybe less experience in, say, we'll use Sue's business as an example. She's been with bugs for over 30 years, and maybe someone comes in that has 15 years, but maybe they come from a different industry prior to that, and they have more knowledge that can maybe enhance what they're doing with the bugs. And it's an idea that maybe will definitely reap huge rewards. But if you're not teachable, you're going to think, well, you don't know anything about bugs. I've been in this for 40 years and you don't know. So ask yourself that question: was I really teachable in 2022? And maybe that's what's costing not just your business, right? Put your business aside right now. Maybe it's your life that just sucks right now because you're Mr. Know-it-all, you're Miss Know-it-all, and someone tries to give you a little bit of positive feedback and you take every single thing personal. One of the best words of advice that I ever got was, Daniel, stop taking things personal. So I want to encourage you as we're stepping into 2023, as we're here in the first quarter, I want to encourage you to be more teachable and really ask yourself this on a weekly basis: am I being humble? Have I been humble this week? Because if you're not, right, there's a scripture that says pride comes before the fall. And the moment you think you know it all, we go backwards, don't we?
Absolutely.
And think about it. I mean, think about what Sue just opened up her heart. I mean, she's being transparent. She's showing us that, I mean, she's a very successful woman, but a horse broke her, to say, and she needed help. And sometimes we just, I think sometimes we don't think we're being prideful and we don't see it, but we are in areas where you don't know it. You try to act like you do, and it's costing you happiness. It might even be costing you your marriage or your relationship with your kids. Where is this going on in your life that you don't see it? Because I can see, right? I'm seeing Sue here in the studio, and you can just see that it wasn't an easy thing to do. And go ask this lady, like, she's doing what I want to do, but sometimes it's just like we think because we're great at something, we're going to automatically be great at something else. And it's a hard pill to swallow. So I've been there. It's a hard pill to swallow. Would you say that's right? Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's nice to experience new things. And if we're so stuck in this, we might not see other things that are going on. So it's really good to open ourselves up and, get talent around us, get people around us that are going to build us up and, tell us what we need to hear, not what we want to hear. I mean, that's so serious.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I want to have those people, that tell me what I need to hear, even if I don't like it.
Even if it hurts, right? I mean, I think sometimes.
Oh, gosh. Absolutely. Sometimes that could be painful and raw, but you know what? Are we going to be better after that? Hopefully, if we listen and make adjustments, then yeah, we're going to be better people than we were before. And we should be striving for excellence in anything and everything we do, because that's what God is wanting from us. Is excellence, not perfection. There's a difference between perfection. People say, "Oh, you're such a perfectionist." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I just expect more from myself, and I expect to be better. So I'm striving for excellence, and that's my change. Perfection, no. Strive for excellence, yes."
I love it. So going back to the question, circle back. How did we get the name the Termite Lady?
Oh my goodness, going way back. Okay, well, my friends, I know, right? I go off on rabbit trails all the time. But it's the Holy Spirit led. A girl by the name of Anne, she's a really close friend of mine, and she said, "Sue, I had a dream, and because you're a woman in a man's industry," and at one time I was one of 10 women in the United States that carried the licensing that I carry. And because you're one of so few women, and most of your clients are women, because I told her that's who I talked to on the phone. She says, "I think that you get it. You're a woman and you get it. You're a mom, you get it. And so it's important for people to know that you're a woman-owned company and that you're handling this and you get it. So I think that you just need to be the termite lady," because they say, "Oh, the termite guy is here," or the plumber guy is here. And so she's, "No, I had a dream and you were the termite lady." So we had these commercials where I was like Bewitched, where I just appeared with the stars and there I was. And oh, the termite lady is here. And I had such a hard time knowing how to even open up after that, being an actress, because I came from that too. But it's like, okay, how do I deliver that line where I'm not laughing because it was kind of funny, you know? But it's true, and it stuck with me. And I have rhinestone belts. I have Swarovski custom made belts that say termite lady on the bottom, back of them. You've probably seen them in Hawaii or Palm Springs. But I always wear my belts, and my daughter says, you're going to be buried with that belt. And I said, well, I'm going to be cremated, but I'll probably be cremated with the belt. But anyway, so termite lady is really stuck. I am trademarked as a termite lady. I'm the one and only termite lady in the world. And who would have thought, right? I mean,
Yes.
it's really not what I would have thought would have been my thing, but it is my thing. And bloom where you're planted, the Lord spoke. Bloom where you're planted. And so wherever he puts you, do all you can do where you are. Okay. He's put you there for a reason. So make sure you're doing the best, not for you, but for him.
Well, I love what you're saying, because I think
all
so
the
many
glory.
times, people get stuck in being perfect that they never do anything. Or if it's not perfect, it's a God-given idea, right? Maybe they do have a bug company, or maybe in your business, you've been, man, we need more revenue, we need to grow. What are we doing? And you get that idea, and it's not perfect the way you want it to be. But no, as long as you're doing it with excellence, would you say there's a high probability that it's going to be successful?
Yes, with integrity. With integrity. You know, I can sleep at night knowing that I'm doing things the right way. Yeah. And, you know, it's so easy to fall into the trap and to get, you know, there's so many temptations out there of, oh, if I just, no, got to do it the right way. If you do it the right way, then you're doing it the right way. Yeah. So I think it's important that we do things with integrity. You know, who you are and what you do when no one's looking is who you really are.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
You've been in business for so many years. You've had to have times of adversity, times of challenges.
Oh, no, not at all. It's been a breeze.
What's a scripture or a quote that you rely on in those times when they happen?
Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You know, those are things that I just, you know, victory is mine. You know, we are victorious. I have a radio show. We never went into that. Well, we did a little bit at the beginning, but I have a radio show, and on my radio show, SueFreeze.com, freeze spelled like fries. If anybody wants to go there, there is the I ams in there. And the I ams, I was spoken over when I was growing up, and even my own self-talk of, you know, not being worthy and just never measuring up, and a bull in a china closet, and just blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't until later in life and struggling marriage where the Lord revealed himself to me to say, you know, that is not who I say you are. That is not who you are. And so I've got a hold of these scriptures that are all I ams, which is who God says you are. And who God says you are is so much better than anybody on this earth and what they say you are. You know, when I am victorious, I'm an ambassador to Christ. I am. And God says I am. Okay, so you can say what you want, buddy, but I rebuke that in Jesus' name, because that is not true. That is not what God says I am. What God says I am is this. And it wasn't until I got a hold of all of that that it gave me the strength to stand up for myself and realize that I was worthy, because Christ died on the cross for me. And if I was the only person on this earth, he died for me. Man, that shows value. He valued me enough to die for me. Wow. I don't want to let him down, because he was there for me. And I've been through a lot in my childhood. I've been through a lot, and I wouldn't change any of it, because I feel like all of those things that happened to me created the person I am now, to know that there is a God, and he is my God, and he is my Abba, and he is my Father, and he loves me. He loves me so much. And what can I say? I mean, people that are on the fence that just don't realize it. You know, I think there is, and I'm not sure, and whatever. I get in the elevator and I'll say to complete strangers, when was your last termite inspection? And they think I'm crazy. But I also say, where are you going to go when you die? Do you know where you're going to go when you die? What happens when you die? What happens? So many people go, oh, I don't know. You know, I think I fall asleep, you know, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's sad, but they never think about it.
Yeah.
Do me a favor. You just have so much fire and passion. I don't want to lose it. There's someone right now watching this, listening to this episode. They may be contemplating suicide for giving up on business. They just at the wit's end. Do me a favor and take a minute and speak life into them if you don't mind, Sue.
Oh,
Please.
Lord Jesus. Oh. All I can say is that the sun comes up new every morning, and that even no matter how tough, how deep and black the storm is, and how lonely and you feel so isolated and so alone, that no matter what is going on in your life, that the sun comes up new every morning. And sometimes we just have to take that next breath. We have to take that next step. We just have to get through the night to the next morning. And it's new the next morning. So for that person or persons that is contemplating, or those thoughts are coming through your mind, God has something for you. And the devil doesn't want it to happen. The devil is trying to snuff you out. The devil's trying to have you leave before your purpose is done. Don't listen, rebuke it. Just keep repeating the words, greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. God loves me. There are people that love you. Please don't take yourself away from that, because the glory is tomorrow. The glory is ahead of you. So hang in there. Hang in there and make a phone call. Take a shower. Do something put on some nice worship music. Do something for yourself, but just keep repeating, I rebuke you, Satan. You have no place in my life. I'm spitting on you. I'm trampling on you, and you are not victorious. I'm victorious in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
If someone wants to get a hold of you, Sue, how do they get a hold of you?
Okay. Sue Fries, spelled like fries, oneword.com is my website, and you can connect on me, and nobody reads those things except for me, so it goes directly to me. And I would say that's the best way, or you could look up Termite Lady and you can find me there. If that's easier for you, then Sue Fries probably is. But Sue Fries, spelled like fries, oneword.com, or Termite Lady.
Love it. Thank you so much for being on our show.
I have loved this time with you, Daniel. I've loved it.
I enjoyed it. And ladies and gentlemen, don't worry, we'll have her email and her website on our show notes, so you'll get all that information to connect with her. She's a powerful, very successful businesswoman, very pure heart of God. And just, Sue, thank you so much for joining us. And ladies and gentlemen,
thank you.
I want to thank you for joining us this week. If you're stuck in life, or you're stuck in business, go to danielgomezglobal.com. That's danielgomezglobal.com. Do our entrepreneurs assessment. We want to help you, and send us a message to our website there on our message center. And better yet, go out there and get our book, The Makings of a Millionaire.com. That's The Makings with an S, The Makings of a Millionaire.com. Get your autographed copy and get our course that goes with it. And then we'll see you here in San Antonio, March 17th and 18th in San Antonio at the Norris Conference Center at our Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, where your voice matters. Your voice makes a difference. And there's businesses out there, organizations and companies that will pay you for your story. So we'll see you here. If you have any questions, give us a call at 210-663-5954. Until next week here on the Daniel Gomez Inspires Show with another amazing guest. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen.
This is Daniel Gomez, and thank you so much for tuning into our show today. We'd love your feedback. Please drop us a comment, and thank you for leaving us a review. Don't forget to subscribe to our show and share this episode with a friend. And my free gift for listening to our show today is a copy of my best-selling book, You Were Born to Fly. To get your free copy, go to danielgomezinspires.com and get your copy today. That's danielgomezinspires.com. And to elevate your life and business even more, follow me on social media at Daniel Gomez Inspires on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.